Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft, and I'm back for Game 3 from the ZvT Cup. This is of course Liquid Snute versus CM Storm Polt. And Snute is going to be the blue Zerg player in the top left-hand corner of Star Station. It is going to be a cross spawn, and Polt is the red Terran player in the bottom right-hand corner. Given the bigness of the map and the cross spawn, I do expect to see a longer game here, but so far both of these players, I will say, have not impressed me. Not impressed me, which means they have impressed me, obviously. Double negative, duh. So Polt is, both these players have just been playing an incredible game so far. I'm very, very impressed. And the skill level is just so high. So, and don't forget, this is the grand finals of a tournament, so they are obviously playing for something here. So far, very, very cool games. Both players playing amazing StarCraft. Cannot wait to see what happens here in Game 3. A couple of drones coming out there of that egg. They were sharing the egg almost. Only Zerglings do that, though. Overlord now going over to the natural expansion. And I just want to talk a little bit, actually, about Polt's army. The composition he's been using has been really cool. The Marine Widowmine Marauder style, it's basically bio with mines, I guess would be a shorthand for it. It's pretty awesome. If you think about it, the thing that Bio struggled mostly against was, a lot of Zerglings and Banelings, and Widow Mines really shut that down. Back then, Terrans would have to use siege tanks in order to bolster their army, but in actuality, siege tanks don't do that much damage to light units. They do most of their damage to armored, and they do splash, but why rely on that when you have the Widow Mine, which does even more splash, I believe? And if you have a huge minefield, it's actually a lot more effective than siege tanks are, because you can pull your forces back through the mines. And I think the most important thing to remember here is when you pull your forces behind siege tanks, you expose your siege tanks, right? When you pull your forces behind Widow Mines, you don't necessarily expose them because they're invisible, they're burrowed, and they're much cheaper than siege tanks as well. So if they go down, it's not a big deal. So I really like what Polt's using here, the composition, and so far Snute really hasn't figured out what the best way to deal with it is. And you can't really blame him. He's tried Zergling, Infestors, Ultras. I certainly don't think Mutalisks are the way to go. But I will say that Broodlords might be the way to take out these Widow Mines, because the thing about Broodlords is they have like a natural self-defense mechanism against Widow Mines. Once the mines get close, even with drilling claws, the Broodlords start shooting their Broodlings, and that basically blocks the mines from getting closer. So I do think... Whoa, hello. That drone becoming a spore crawler right there to stay alive. I don't see that every day. But that drone was actually on the way out to the natural expansion, and now it is going to continue to be a spore. No, it's going to be canceled off. And Snute here will have to wait for his queen to come out. But as I was saying before, I definitely feel like the styles and the strategies these players are utilizing, very, very fun to watch. But Snute's got to figure out how to deal with that, bio with mines style, and hopefully he figures it out soon, because it's getting close to being GG for him here in this series. Reaper drops down to the low ground right now, and it's gonna once again try to pick off a drone, but Snute is too quick with his reaction. He's gonna keep those alive as long as he can by obviously transforming them into whatever building, which makes them much harder to kill. Meanwhile, in the background, looks like Polt is adding on Barracks Factory. He's adding on a macro CC to go with the natural expansion as well. So this time, definitely looking to play a late macro game, and that's totally justified given that it's a cross spawn on Star Station. Why wouldn't you want to go for a macro CC? It makes all the sense to. And Snute right now is droning up like a madman. He's actually producing like 10 or so drones, or he was at least. And you can see that both armies, really macroing, both sides really macroing here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Snute go for a quick third here pretty soon. I think he should actually bring the drone out and make a hatchery sooner rather than later. In that last game, he was forced to go hide it in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, and that wasn't really optimal, but it did work out for him. I think this time around, I'd like to see him go for a hatchery pretty soon. So far, still on 2 bases, though, which, it's a little surprising. And I think, you guys saw what happened last time. Polt was like, hey, why are you still on 2 bases? And he threw up a bunch of bunkers, and he was playing very, very safe because he thought he was dealing with an all-in. could certainly be seeing something like that here from Snute, who still hasn't grabbed an expansion. Snute is really focused right now on walling off the front door, and this is already you know, a big red flag for any Terran player, any player in general. When you see a Zerg this intently focused on walling off this front door like this, it can only mean one thing. It means they're hiding something. And I think Snute here is, he's thinking about going for some type of all-in. He's basically, he's researching +1/+1 on the Evo chamber, sure, but you know, I think he threw up all these buildings because he wanted to keep the Hellions out, and he still hasn't thrown up a hatchery yet. You can see here Polt is really concerned. He's throwing down a comsat right now because he doesn't know what the hell is going on. Once again, Snute is playing, I don't know if he's playing these mind games or if he plans to expand at some point, but this has got to be confusing for Polt. He doesn't know what's happening to him. And I would imagine, yeah, he's going to go ahead and wall this off. I wouldn't be surprised to see him start throwing down bunkers pretty soon here as well. You know, but rather, you know, be safe rather than sorry. But no, it looks like Snute is going to bring the drone out and is going to hatch after all. It's just a really delayed expansion. You know, a 9-minute expansion for the Zerg is... it's pretty late, and here it is. The reason why, ladies and gentlemen, is because Snute is going for the Nidus worm. He is going to try to Nidus his way into the Terran main base, but the thing is, Polt's got a starport, and he's got a Viking, and the Viking has been going around the map, killing off overlords. Already killed off the one in the bottom left-hand corner, but it's not patrolling the one to the top right, which is actually an Overseer, and Snute is going to try to Nidus right here. Oh, this is going to be dirty, dirty, and I don't think Polt knows. I mean, he sees the hatchery, and at this point he's got to be like, oh, you are expanding, but you know what's going to happen? I think Snute's just going to cancel this hatchery and get 300 minerals back. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see him do that. Oh, the orbital command sees the Nidus though, and will Polt react in time? It's all a matter of time here. He's got to bring his troops back. I don't think he sees it. He's focused on microing against the hatchery. And Snute has brought the army in, and guess what? +1/+1 just now finished as well. So, hello, Terran main base, and Polt is in a whole world of trouble here. Now, I've seen Terran players react to this differently. Some of them will really try to deal with the Niduses and take out the Zerg army, but sometimes when there's two Niduses like this, it's best to just evacuate the main base and make a new wall right here on the low ground. And will Polt do that? I think that would be his best option, because I'm not sure he can hold off this many roaches. He's brought in some Widow Mines, but there's an Overseer somewhere up there, which can certainly detect the mines. And there's a couple of Queens here to heal the roaches as well if they take damage. Meanwhile, Polt's still trying to struggle to hold on here. He's brought in all of his troops, but I don't think he's got enough. His +1/+1 is just moments away from finishing, which will certainly help even out the score a little bit, but he's been taking so much damage already, and I think Snute here is going to be able to clean the inside of the Terran main base. Polt, I think, needs to evacuate. He needs to lift off his buildings and just wall off the ramp. But the thing is, on this map, Star Station, if you do that, your pocket will be exposed because the roaches can just attack from the high ground to the low ground. So Polt actually cannot give up here. He has to take out the Niduses, and I think, will he be able to do it? It looks like the roaches are now just bouncing around the Niduses from the low ground to the high ground. Oh man, Polt is just in so much trouble. How is he going to deal with this? He's got to take out the Niduses, and it looks like he's going to go for the roaches first. Snute, in the meantime, is he droning up? He is droning up. He thinks he's done enough damage. He doesn't need to commit to continuing to this attack, and he still actually has a lot of roaches over here too, just doing all sorts of damage to the pocket expansion. So it looks like Polt is going to kill off the two worms inside of his main base. Will he be able to keep this orbital command alive as well? That would be great if he could keep the orbital alive and prevent it from burning up. But I think right now he's got other worries on his mind as all these roaches are just coming in through the front door. The Widow Mine's trying to get underground. Some of them will get underground. Meanwhile, the orbital is on fire. It's under 60 HP. I really think Polt needs to repair that and bring it down to the ground to start dropping minerals. But the Queen, oh, that was close. The Queen almost takes it out. Some SCVs get underneath and start repairing though, just for a moment. And I think there's still an SCV down there. Yeah, there's a couple more SCVs repairing, so that orbital command is going to stay alive. That's really essential here for Polt because he's taken so much damage this game. In fact, units lost showing he's, well, actually, both sides have lost quite a bit, but he's lost 24 SCVs. But the bottom line is, if he's going to recover, he needs to keep this orbital command alive, and that was huge. for Polt to repair that. Now he's on comsat duty trying to take out all these creep tumors, and once all the creep recedes, once all the creep is gone, the Zerg no longer has vision of this area. In fact, if we show you guys the Zerg vision now, it's completely receded because he doesn't have any tumors. It's tumors that provide the vision, not actually the creep. So Polt, I don't think he's entirely out of this game yet because, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, he has the macro CC. He can certainly remine and get back into this game. Meanwhile, this Viking has still been going around the perimeter of the map patrolling for overlords. But it looks like he might even pick off a couple over here in the back. But yeah, I've got to say, Polt with a grand job of holding off what was an all-in from Liquid Snute, and he was able to hold it off. I mean, most Terrans would crumble when they've got 3 Nidus Worms, 2 in the main base and 1 at the pocket. You know, they're not going to be able to hang on. But Polt showcasing his micro, able to hang on. But then again, Snute really didn't commit to the all-in because you guys saw he was droning up behind it because he felt like his best chance of winning was doing damage now and then transitioning. So now what we have is an interesting situation where Snute is actually quite strong, and Polt probably doesn't realize how strong Snute is, but he gets all of his mines underground, but the mines did not detonate on the main pack of roaches. And really, mines aren't that effective against roaches in general, so it looks like Snute will stay alive here, and he's bringing an Overseer, so these mines are, unfortunately for CM Storm Polt, going to go down. Wow, what a game. 103 supply to 143. I think that last battle going pretty well there for Liquid Snute, though. And now Storm Polt is in a bit of a situation. He really doesn't have that big of an army. I think his best opportunity, his best choice here is just to get the hell out of this spot, evacuate into the medevacs, and go back to the natural expansion. But looks like, no, yeah, there we go. He is going to get out of there. Really no reason to stick around and fight on them in the open field against a Zerg player. And in the meantime, Polt bringing in a drop, very smart here. He's got to try to distract Snute and, you know, get some damage done wherever possible. But infestors are now coming out, and that fungal is just killer for medevacs and their drops. Meanwhile, Orbital Command here forced liftoff into the air. More SCVs and Neils going down. And Snute is starting to run away with this game, ladies and gentlemen. 172 supply to 100. A Nidus Worm being thrown in place of the Orbital to prevent it from landing down. Clever, clever. And clever girl. And Snute here, you know, it's just in control of this game. There is a small drop force to the top going into the natural expansion, but I find it unlikely that Polt is going to be able to get much damage done here. I think Snute is going to win a game, ladies and gentlemen, which is pretty big for him considering it was 2-0. If he lost this one, it was over. So I think he's going to go 2-1 here and take it to game 4. Although obviously anything can happen. But incredible play so far from both of these players, but Snute is going to go for the killing blow now. He's throwing down another Nidus Worm as well. I don't know what the hell happened to the Nidus over here. How did it go down? I guess some Marines must have came out and picked it off. But there is a new Nidus coming, and there's a lot of Banelings out here. So I think we're going to see a bit of a Baneling bust here. And unless Storm Polt can defend, I don't see how. I mean, I just don't see how he can defend, period. He is, oh, he gets fungled, chain fungled over here on the top too, so that is pretty bad for him. And here comes Snute. The swarm is coming. There are some mines on the high ground, but that isn't going to be enough. And these supply depots, I mean, yeah, they are too flimsy to deal with Banelings. And you can see that this is going to be GG. Sion Storm Polt calls it, and Snute wins a game in this best of 5 series from the Zotac Cup. So we are going to go on to game 3. It is currently, excuse me, we're going to go on to game 4. It is currently 2-1 in favor of CM Storm Polt. Hang on to your hats. Don't go anywhere. This is HD signing out.